Hey guys, Sebastian here from greenmusicproductions.com. Today I want to talk about an amazing plugin called Soothe from Oeksound. It is a dynamic resonance suppressor. So it is amazing in my humble opinion for three main reasons. The first one is that it does something that no other plugin can do. So that's already a huge achievement in itself. The second reason is that what it does it really well and it's really useful. You want to use it in all of your sessions. And the third reason is that it's super simple and streamlined. It's really easy to use so anybody can use it. So let's say you're working on vocals or instruments or anything audio related and you hear some harsh frequencies, but since it's audio, it's always moving. So it's really hard to pinpoint the exact frequency with an EQ. So you say, let's try with a dynamic EQ or with multiband compressor, but still, you know, the frequency is always moving a little bit and it's really hard to find, and you work on it for an hour and it doesn't give you the result you were expecting. Well, Soothe is the answer to your prayers because it does all this automatically for you. It's basically detecting all of the resonant frequency and suppressing them for you. So you have a couple of settings, but it's super streamlined. As you can see, it looks like an EQ. You have 5 bands, so it looks familiar. It's already really easy to use because just by playing with it by instinct, since you're used to an EQ, you get good results. So those 3 knobs right here basically control what you do with your mouse on the dots. So the frequency, the bandwidth, which is usually called a Q on a regular parametric EQ, and the sensibility, which is usually gain on an EQ, but here it's the sensibility, since the more sensibility you add to that band, the more effect is going to get applied on that band. So the 3 main knobs you're going to spend most of your time working on are those 3 right here. The depth is basically the amount that you want the effect to be applied. The sharpness is how sharp you want all of the little bends to be applied, basically. So let's give you an example. I play a flute track right here and I'll put the sharpness to 0. As you can see, it's really wide. So if I put the sharpness to 100 now, it's super sharp and precise. Selectivity basically will tell the plugin how many bends you would like to apply to the sound. So if you're looking at some really sharp frequencies that are always moving, you should play with sharpness and selectivity. So let's go back to that flute track and bypass the plugin. Listen to it. As you can hear, there are a couple of things in that recording. There's the air, the high frequency air from the mouth. There's the explosion in the mid-range from the mouth also. And there's the tone of the instrument. So let's just play with Soothe and see what we can achieve on that flute track. So those range right here will say to the plugin which portion of the frequency you would like to apply. So let's say I want to only work on the mid-range. I will only select the mid-range and try to find the frequency that I would like to work on. The delta option right here, the delta knob, is really useful because when it's enabled, you only hear what the plugin is removing. So kind of like an EQ, you can pinpoint the harsh frequency by using the delta and then remove it to hear the result. So let's try that out. Yeah, so let's say I think this frequency range right here is a bit annoying. Now let's remove the delta. I can control the effect with the depth. So as you can see, the air is now louder since we actually lowered this portion right here. So it's useful. Let's say you want more air on the flute, you can always do this. Or let's say you don't want any air on the flute. So let's try that out. Let's bring our bands to the high range. So right now I'm on delta mode, so I only hear what it's removing. So that's pretty good. Let's remove the delta and hear the results. Now without. So let's say you're working on a vintage sounding production or jazz and you want to remove some of those harsh high frequencies. It's super easy to do with Soothe. Let's move on now. I have a Rhodes track right here, so let's play with Soothe and see what it can do. Let's listen to it bypassed first. Sounds pretty good, but let's say I want to remove some of that bell sound, some high frequency bell sound that we can hear in the recording. So let's select the high frequency range. We can see the frequencies in the bottom right here. And by the way, you have a wet amount, so you can put it 100% wet or not at all or anywhere in between. So that's really nice. So let's put it in delta mode and listen to what it's doing now. Yeah, that sounds like the bell. So let's try to remove the delta mode and see the results. Wow, that sounds really good. That sounds like a good jazzy Rhodes. So let's bypass it. Bring it back. We could probably go even further. That sounds amazing to me. And now again, let's just for fun, let's do the opposite and see how powerful Soothe is with basically anything you would like to remove on the instrument. So let's try to remove the mid and lower frequencies of the instrument. So without and with. So if you want more of the bell, you can always use it that way. And I'm not going in depth right now. I'm just really tweaking it really fast so you can see what you can do. As you can see, it's super easy to use. So let's listen to what we have here. So this is without the plugin. As you can see, it's really harsh. There's a lot of tiny frequencies that are resonating and it's really annoying. It hurts my ear right now. So let's enable Soothe. This is pretty much the default setting. So let's listen to what it's doing. Wow, it's already a lot better. The frequency seems to be pretty accurate. It's only applying to the higher, mid, and high frequencies. So this is with and without now. Wow, this is really good. Thank you, Oeksound, by the way. Thank you. I've been looking for a plugin that does that kind of stuff for so long, because usually I would try to fix that with an EQ and it's really, really painful. Now let's listen to a vocal track. Let's bypass the plugin first.
Ooh, baby.
Yeah, it sounds pretty good. Let's work with Soothe and see what we can do. Let's say I want to remove, I want to get more breath sounds. So right now it's already focused on the lower and high mid frequencies. So if we put the depth to a higher value, the mids are gonna go down a little bit. So we'll hear more of the breath and hair of the singer. So let's try that out.
Ooh, baby.
Wow, that's amazing.
Ooh, baby. Ooh.
You can almost hear only the air of the performance if you want. So that's really, really cool.
Ooh, baby.
So let's try to do something else. Let's try to remove some of the high frequencies on the vocals.
Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. Ooh,
sounds pretty good. If that's what you're looking for, it kind of sounds like a ribbon microphone now. So if you're trying to achieve a vintage microphone effect, that could also be used for that. Now let's try. I noticed there's a frequency in the mid-range that sounds a little bit aggressive. So let's put it on delta mode so we listen what it's removing and try to pinpoint the frequency. Yeah, it's in that range, so let's remove the delta and see what it's doing right now.
Ooh, baby.
Wow.
Ooh, baby.
It's just smoothing the vocal, so it's soft now. Let's bypass the plugin
Ooh, baby.
and put it back on.
Ooh, baby.
I really like that. So that's it for today, guys. I'll put a link to their website in the description, so go check that out. It's not that expensive, and I can promise you that once you try the plugin, you will want to use it in all of your projects. There's a demo version for 20 days, so you can try the full plugin with all the features for 20 days for free. And if you like it, you can buy it. So as usual, if you like that video, please press that like button and subscribe. You can always leave a comment in the comments section. So I hope you enjoyed, and see you in the next video. Bye, guys.